Yeah, I got something to drink. I think it's a can of beer. Hey, it's What If, and boy, are we glad you're here. It's the Sweary Boys making some noise. We putting all that weird shit inside your ears, and yeah, we just making new sounds. I mean, sounders. We just drinking pounders and talking about weird shit with all our weird friends. We gonna do it for an hour before the show ends, so let's do it. What's up, man?
Greetings.
Hi.
How be thee?
I haven't rapped on the show in forever, and I feel like for the new listeners who didn't hear like the other 40 times that I rapped on the show, they're going to be like, what the fuck is going on?
And for the old listeners that hated it the other times you rapped on the show,
they're going to be like, what the fuck is going on right now?
They're going to be like,
hell no.
And I'm going to be like, shh. Oh, yeah. Shut your mouth.
Y'all are like,
hell no.
But then we're like,
hell yeah, bro.
I still think one of the best ideas we've had that we have not actually done is to use...
Oh, good, because we need more of this.
No.
More of us talking about shit that we're not actually going to do.
Hey, that's 50% of what the show is.
It's the one thing this show needs more of.
That's 50% of what the show is. Get used to it. We've only been doing it for over 2 years.
Couple years now.
I still think we should take all of the very short raps and put them on Spotify under our assumed band name, Robot Grandma.
Did we ever give an update on the Robot Grandma play count?
So for those of you who didn't listen to the episode, we did an episode many moons ago called What If We Started a Fake Band, where we talked about the music industry and manipulation and a couple criminal cases related to it. And Robot Grandma put out a song called Mall Raps, which we recorded at the beginning of that song, or at the beginning of that episode. And we bought 10,000 streams off of one of those pay-for-play.
I think it was Streamify.
Okay. And now the track has 11,539 plays as of the recording of this episode.
Which means that 1,539 of you actually listened to the song.
And that is fucking awesome to me.
Which is more than some of my actual songs that are on Spotify.
Which
I'm
is
not sure how to feel about that.
Fucking awesome to me.
Is it?
Yes.
Yeah, it is.
It is
You're
awesome.
right.
You guys are
when
awesome.
you put it like that.
I think we need to do follow-ups. We need to take all those little 15-second clips of you pounding on the drums and me freestyling and just buy 10,000 streams for all of them.
Well, fucking do it, bruv.
We got to go back through all the old episodes and listen to the intros.
Nobody hold you back.
And see which ones I done did rapped on. Would one of you do that for me? That'd be so great. If someone could send
I have
us...
this great idea, but like I'm too lazy to do it.
There's just more of you than there is me.
Somebody do it for me.
We need a running list of all the episodes where we rapped an intro at the beginning.
Okay. I'm not going to do that.
Hi at whatifpodcast.com, 612-246-4614. Someone's going to hold it for ransom again like Hawk did for the band names list and be like, call me up if you want that shit.
We haven't played any voicemails in a minute. Do you want to play a couple?
Speaking of motherfuckers calling in and holding shit for ransom, yes, let's play.
That's a yes? Okay.
And speaking of giving people our phone number, you can call and leave us a voicemail. Sometimes listeners do, and here's sometimes what they say.
Wait for it.
You got it.
Wait for it.
I believe in you.
I don't know if I do got it. What the fuck just happened?
What'd you do?
I don't know. I tried to play the fucking...
Spencer blacked out.
Oh, boy. All right, let's try this.
Yo, what? Okay, first of all, this is Rhiannon. I am from the Seattle area.
Hi.
I just recently became a patron to, whatever.
Ooh.
I've been listening to you guys for like 2 years now, I think.
Sick.
But anyways, I just felt prompted to call you because I'm driving down the road and a hawk flew in front of my car and I had to slam on my brakes. And I'm on like a country road. It was beautiful, but all I have to say is I needed to call you because I audibly said, damn, that boy's big. And I just feel like you need to know that you have a very powerful influence over my life now. Love the show. Keep doing what you're doing. You guys are fucking awesome. Bye.
Yeah, that boy big.
Okay, I have three very quick things.
One thing before that.
Yes.
I don't know if we originally stated this when we first pulled the...
Yeah, that boy big.
Do you know who that actually is?
No.
That's Lonzo Ball.
What? No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
I thought it was like one of the Lakers trainers.
Somebody posted that as a shot at Lonzo Ball.
Oh, but he looks so small in the video.
It's because he's standing next to JaVale McGee, who, as we know,
is that boy big.
That boy big.
Oh man.
Okay, your 3 points about that voicemail.
That's significantly more awesome now that I know that that's Lonzo Ball.
R.I.P. Lonzo Ball, JaVale McGee bromance.
Yeah, that's true. One, shout out to you, Rhiannon. Thank you for joining the Patreon. For those that don't know, you can get an extra episode every week, plus access to our back catalog of 70 episodes on the Patreon at patreon.com/whatitpodcast. Thank you for supporting the show, Rhiannon. Oh, you look so ready to hit a button.
I'm just waiting. I got 2 new ones, and I'm trying to make sure that
he's like, if he says this one fucking buzzword.
Don't worry. Don't ruin it for the listeners. They can't see me.
Number 2, based on you calling us, Spencer's giving me the John Cena hand right now. I can't see me. Because you're calling us and leaving us that voicemail, Rhiannon. Number 2, I'm glad you're okay and that this bird did not actually cause injury or to you or your vehicle. Now, point number 3. While I am so glad that we have indoctrinated you enough over the past 2 years for you to scream our sounders at wildlife when they interrupt your driving, what I would say is you should probably focus your energy on other portions of evasive driving maneuvers than screaming things from our show. I'm glad that was what popped in your head, but I also feel like save that energy for getting the fuck out of the way of that big ass bird.
Siri, call police.
Siri, that bird... Damn that bird big. Call the police.
You want another one?
Phenomenal voicemail. Thanks for calling, Rhiannon. Thanks for supporting the show. Yeah, let's do it.
Hey, you guys, I've called before, but Google has fucked up my name, so I'm not even going to bother saying it. But I needed you to know that when Ryan was talking about the things that make you stronger, or the things that frustrate you make you stronger, I really felt that today because my washer fucking flooded my second floor, and that's what I needed to hear. So thank you. Love you.
Trash.
Bye.
So trash.
Oh, that's so trash. Person who didn't want to leave their name, which is totally okay. Did she say her washer flooded her second floor?
Yeah, which means that the washer's on at least the second, possibly third floor. How big is your house?
Oh, I see what you're saying. Don't. God damn it. I fucking knew you were. God damn it. My guess is it means it overflowed on the second floor of the house and overflowed the house.
Well, at least it didn't flood your first floor then in that case.
Yeah, I mean, it
could be worse.
Your second floor is above your first floor, which means if it's coming down, it's coming down.
Yes.
That is trash, so trash, and we're very sorry. Hopefully, we'll make you laugh one time in this episode, and that will, in an infinitesimal way, sedate the pain of that incident.
Let's see. One more?
Fuck yeah, why not?
Right.
We've gotten a grip and we haven't played him in a while, so let's do it.
Google thinks that the word chupacabra is in this one, so let's listen to it.
I bet it is.
Hello?
I just finished listening to the Chupacabra episode.
Yep.
Oh yeah, hey, this is Amber calling again.
Hi, Amber.
Amber from Albuquerque, now living in Pennsylvania. Anyway, Chupacabra. Here's my hypothesis. 2 words. Plum Island. And I'm pretty sure you guys know all about Plum Island. If you don't, you may want to, make it a topic. If you already did an episode about it and I have you to listen to it, I apologize in advance. But also, thank you for teaching me a new word. I love English, and you guys were talking about portmanteau. Is that how you say it? Portmanteau? Portmanteau. It's like where you...
Portmanteau.
2 words into a new word,
Sick.
which I do all the time, and it's so much fun. So, for example, when I did live in Albuquerque, I called it Amberquerque.
Fuck yeah.
See what I did then? And same thing, when it's my birthday, I don't have it's not my birthday.
It's your Amber's day.
It's my birthday.
Fuck yeah, nailed it.
Amber,
yeah, bro!
Okay, anyways, love you guys. Bye.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah!
Fuck yeah.
I love it. That's a word that I learned at 31.
Portmanteau?
Yeah, because I did dumb shit like that all the time too. And my wife was like, hey, look.
The whole portmanteau thing's got to stop.
And I was like, What is that, though?
I don't even know what you're telling me to stop doing right now because I don't know the word for the thing that I do.
Yep.
Fuck yeah, Amber.
Those two are fucking dumb.
That's a fucking phenomenal voicemail as well. This was a good VM session, man. Damn.
No dudes. No dudes in the voicemail.
And that's great. You know what it was? It was because we said, look, we've gotten a bunch of dudes in a row, and y'all stepped it up, ladies. No, thank y'all for calling. Like we said, it's 612-246-4614. If you ever want to call, leave us a voicemail, talk shit, tell a joke, tell us a story, suggest an episode. Also, did she say Plum Island?
Okay,
I heard Plum Island, I thought.
I did too, and I don't know what that is, if that is what she said. Google translated it as Long Island, which maybe is, if that's what she was saying, maybe she's talking about the Montauk stuff. Is that possible?
I just went to the Plum Island Wikipedia page.
Oh, that's a real thing that neither of us knew about.
In popular culture, it says Plum Island is the title and focus of one episode of the television series Conspiracy Theory with Jesse Ventura, which makes me think she was probably talking about Plum Island.
I realized that's Ric Flair, but that was just how excited I got about somebody recommending that show to us, and then me remembering that show exists, and I've never watched any of it.
Oops. Looks like we're doing a 15 episode series where we deconstruct.
Oops, I need to buy more weed.
We deconstruct consecutive episodes of Conspiracy Theory with Jesse Ventura. Yeah, I don't. Plum Island is the location of a deadly government conspiracy in the 2014 novel The Montauk Monster by Hunter Shea.
Oh, yeah, okay. So they are related.
Plum Island is the location of the U.S. government's main research facility trying to stop the hemorrhage virus and the post-apocalyptic extinction cycle series by Nicholas Sansbury Smith.
Wait, I already forgot. What was she saying is an explanation? That's an explanation for?
What?
She said, I have 2 words to explain.
Oh, chupacabra.
Oh, right. Okay.
I think she's implying that chupacabra is a derivative from the experimentation, et cetera, that has occurred.
Right, because there was that Montauk monster thing that washed up on the beach a few years ago. Remember
yeah, but what's the difference between is Montauk on Plum Island? Is that what's going on here?
Well, I don't know. I haven't read anything about Plum Island. I didn't know it existed until a moment ago.
Well,
but that Wikipedia entry you just read said something about Montauk and experiments and whatnot.
That was just Plum Island in popular culture, and that book, that novel, uses Plum Island as one of the locations inside of it as well.
Well, yeah, I don't know.
Hang on, that's the only reference to Montauk in the entire Plum Island article. So I feel like that's.
Well, we can do our research not live on the podcast.
Oh, no. I got it. Plum Island Animal Disease. The island is the site of the Plum Island Animal Disease Center, which was established by the U.S. Department of Agriculture in 1954. So I think that's what she's maybe saying.
They got some fucked up animals hanging out there.
They're doing weird shit to animals on Plum Island.
One of them is a chupacabra.
I don't feel like that would be a very fun episode. That sounds sad as shit.
A chupacabra.
A fucking chupacabra.
Trash. So trash.
We're so trash.
Do you think when I hit this one, we're going to create a bad time for people listening on their iPhones?
Siri, call police.
You're saying, are people not going to hear call the police in full?
No, I'm saying are people's phones going to start dialing the police?
Oh, boy, I didn't even think about that. Damn, what happens if you say to your phone, Siri, call the police?
Well, you want to find out?
You can do it on your phone. I'm not trying to get a...
Hey, Siri.
Dude, she's for sure going to call
911. Oh, no, I turned that thing off.
I don't understand. My thing off. But I could search the web for it.
Call the police.
Calling emergency...
Oh, shit, yeah, it does it. It does it. Okay. Maybe not gonna push that button anymore.
Well,
it said calling emergency services in 3, 2, and then there was a cancel button which I smashed.
Oh,
and then
boy.
And then she said okay.
Oh boy.
All right.
Well,
sorry if we are already creating problems for you guys. I won't hit that button anymore.
God damn, we're dumb. Well, sorry guys, if anyone was listening on their phone and Siri called the police, I guess we'll hear about it on the contact information that we just gave you. Oh, I did just say, yeah, I'm not going to say what I just said.
That
Never
button's
mind.
been deleted.
Well, anyway, this week on the What If
Let's
podcast.
talk about aliens, huh?
The Sweary Boys
Sweary Boys create
get our
chaos.
entire fan base arrested.
Sorry, friends.
Those two are fucking dumb.
Preach. We are talking aliens.
January 20th, 1996.
Dun, dun, dun.
We're in Varginha. I'm going with Varginha, by the way.
Varginha, I think, is about as right as we're going to get.
Brazil.
Brazil.
And NORAD. Oh, this is one of those episodes where there's just a big old allegedly around everything.
Yeah, this is a super fun story, and there's proof of literally none of it.
Correct. I can't confirm almost anything that we're going to talk about for the next 45 minutes or so.
Actually, I want to take that back only slightly. The proof, the varying degrees of proof that we have talked about on the show, have gone all the way to like someone wrote about it in a book, so it's true. This one, not so it's true. We're not saying it's true. We're saying they're saying it's true by writing about it in a book. What I'm saying is this story, we do have interviews with eyewitnesses from it, which you can, well, we'll talk about later. But I will say that's better than a lot of the shit that we've talked about. But also, there's a massive allegedly around a lot of this.
Yes.
It's also one that I think has taken on a life of its own since the original story was told, and then the
as all good
gaps.
nonsense does.
Yes, the gaps have been filled in very fabulous ways.
All right. So, with that said, on January 20th, 1996, NORAD, which is the North American Aerospace Defense Command, I'm not sure how they got that acronym, but that's okay. That should be NADC.
NADS.
Contacted their Brazilian counterpart, which is the Integrated Center for Air Defense and Air Traffic Control.
Ickadat. Ichabod Crane. Go.
To tell them that they had spotted something in the air in the vicinity of Varginha.
The way that I read it, for what it's worth, and again, we're going to probably do this back and forth because Spencer and I did research at different places.
Because it's all probably made up. Yeah, go ahead.
And there's a bunch of different versions of even the small details. The version of it I heard was that NORAD, with their satellite arrays that are constantly circling the planet, had observed something breaking through Earth's atmosphere.
Ooh, that's much more.
And was on a trajectory to land in central Brazil.
Oh, that's a better version. We'll go with that one.
Okay.
That's much more ominous.
And they were like, hey, FYI, something's headed your way. You guys should be prepared.
The specifics of this evening are hard to find and way harder to confirm. But the basic idea is that there were multiple UFO reports. People saw lights in the sky. People saw things flying around. There's video of at least one of these.
Yes.
And
again, more evidence than most shit that we talk about. I'm just saying.
I don't know about most. More evidence than some of the things we talk about. It's better than that rooster story. We get multiple UFO reports. Some places said up to 100 UFO reports that night.
Oh, dang.
Reports of a fire or some sort of possible crash site in the forest. And most interestingly, reports of a non-human, non-animal creature running about the town.
Hey-o! Where do we want to start? Do we want to start with the primary UFO sighting?
Sure. That sounds like as good a spot as any.
So Oralina and Eurico de Freitas. What? You making
trash? So trash.
Are you calling them trash? We don't even know what they're saying.
That was for your accent.
Oh, I was trying. I'm not gonna try anymore.
Keep going. Sorry.
They own a farm in Varginha, and we know it's I don't know if it's only a cattle farm. I think it's a cattle farm, maybe plus some other livestock.
Plus some aliens. Chupacabra or two.
They wake up in the middle of the night because they can actually hear their cattle restless, kind of making noise and stomping about.
Getting abducted.
Floating up through the sky.
Having their tongues cut out with lasers.
No, so they go to the window and they look outside and they report seeing a cigar-shaped object with a white plume hovering over their field, which they believed was what was perturbing their cattle, if you will.
Ooh.
And it was making no noise. I don't know how it could have a plume if it was hovering. Like, they didn't say that it was moving quickly in one direction. So I don't know if it was like ejecting smoke or something like that. But
all I know is that plume is like a top 5 English word for me.
Just enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
Enjoy the sounds.
It's fun to say. It's fun to hear. You don't get to use it very often. It's like a little special treat whenever you hear it in the wild.
You trick-or-treating for words over there. Look at you. That's fucking adorable.
Thanks. I'm an adorable man.
I'm an adorable man. But yeah, they reported this not initially. So we're kind of going like sequence of events here, not sequence of reports.
Yes. So there were UFOs seen on the evening of January 20th, 1996.
Yeah, and we do have well, not us. I mean, we had the audio, but we're not going to play you guys Portuguese audio because that's not entirely helpful to anyone except for our Portuguese speaking
there might
audience.
be a couple of you that could understand what's happening.
Yeah.
But we are not amongst those.
We are
people.
not. But Orlina and Eurico have been interviewed and talked about what they saw that night with the UFO flying over their cattle fields. So that was reported in the middle of the night. I read everything from 2 a.m. to 4 a.m. on January 20th.
Yeah. I've seen the alleged NORAD contact happened around midnight. And then most of these sightings happened somewhere between
midnight in the morning,
midnight and 4 a.m. ish.
Got it. All right. Well, that tracks timeline.
Sure.
If you will. I'm trying to help them.
Yeah.
They're going to need all the help they can get.
There was also allegedly a fire department crew and military crew that was sent out to respond to reports of a fire / maybe downed aircraft of some kind.
Yes. I did learn an interesting fact about one of the things that they talk about is like, oh, if there was both firefighters and military there had to have been like a reason that military was on the premises. But what I didn't know is that Brazil's military is also their firefighters. So like the police is part of the military, the firefighters are part of the military, and the military is part of the military.
You don't say.
So it's like they have like Army, Navy, Fire, Police as all divisions of their military.
Huh.
That's the way I understood it. So, and like I saw.
So maybe that's how it always works. This is not uncommon, is what you're saying?
Yeah. Like even on the, I saw footage of.
But even then, why would you send both?
What do you mean?
Even if, as you're saying, perhaps the fire department is a branch of the military, they're not saying there were just fire trucks there and the fire department is part of the military. They're saying there were fire trucks and there were military vehicles.
Well, so the way that I was sort of interpreting it was, you know how like firefighters are sometimes paramedics when they're the closest ones to whatever?
Yeah.
I was seeing it as like maybe because there was a military base that was only like 16 kilometers away from Varginha. So I was like, maybe if there was trucks in the area, maybe their military are trained in both fire and whatever.
Or if you don't know what you're actually responding to.
Right. Maybe you just send those guys because you're like, look.
General emergency services.
Yeah. Because you're, you know, maybe you need to kind of put somebody on a stretcher or give somebody resuscitation or something like that.
Well, instead they found and captured an alien.
Oh, well, never mind. Fuck me then, I guess.
The alien was allegedly bipedal, about 5 feet tall, with a very large head and very thin body, V-shaped feet. I don't exactly know. I'm assuming that means like 2 big, like lobster claw looking toes.
Two big toes.
Yeah. Brown skin and large red eyes. They were also apparently extremely stinky.
Stinkiest.
The brownest, stinkiest aliens.
It's gross.
Mm-hmm. They smelled like ammonia. Real bad.
Gross. Ammonia's bad for you. Don't smell it.
Yeah, I'm not sure I know what that smells like.
You never smelled ammonia before?
I don't know. Where would one encounter ammonia? I know it's like used in cleaning products sometimes.
Yeah, that's like my primary experience with it. We also, I feel
Is
like
it bad for you on its own, or isn't it only if it's like combined with other things?
I think it's bad for you on its own and
why would it be in
concentrated
stuff, then?
doses. Well, I mean,
like bad for you as in you shouldn't huff it? Or?
Yeah, it's the same reason you're not supposed to like drink 409, you know, like.
Well, yeah.
There's bad stuff in the stuff that we used to clean with all over the place.
Okay. Why'd you point it out then?
What do you mean?
It just seems like a very, whatever. They stunk and they were aliens and they got captured allegedly by the military / fire department folks who were on the scene.
Yeah.
And they threw them in a box. They put them in a net and they put them in a box because this is a Looney Tunes cartoon, I guess.
Yeah, also, in the reports, it's a 1 meter by 1 meter box. I'm like, well, what? Why?
But it's a 5 foot tall alien?
Yeah, so they squished him up real small and then they put him in.
Yeah, he was a little cramped. He got to sit down.
Yeah. They told him to like sit down cross-legged and put his head in his...
Bark, Bjork, bark.
Get in the box, alien dog man.
They then took this alien gentleman to a local hospital.
Alien gentleman.
I guess I shouldn't assume the alien's gender.
Put it on the list?
Yeah, sure. This alien
being,
alien dude, to a hospital. And I love this story. And this story makes no fucking sense at the same time. They took him to the hospital because it needed medical attention and it was apparently injured.
Well, he crashed, bud.
But then why'd you cram it into a 3 by 3 foot crate?
Cause he looks like he's scary.
Like, did they have to contain the stink?
Well, that honestly might have been
was
part of it.
Was he stinking because he was leaking, or do they always stink?
That's an important question, actually.
Thanks.
It was like, and maybe they didn't want to get the alien blood all over them too. Like, they don't know.
Well,
you know, maybe if you touch the alien, you're gonna die.
Well,
I'm saying.
Foreshadowing. Jeez.
Thanks. I'm good at storytelling. What's up?
They took him to the hospital, and she was accompanied by a military person. Soldier, I guess, is probably the right word in this case.
Sure.
Who claims to have not only accompanied the alien to the hospital, but stood guard while the alien was operated on at the hospital?
Yeah. The version of it I heard was not the military personnel who allegedly, anonymously reported their experience after the fact, said that they couldn't tell whether or not the alien was being operated on to be saved.
I have a allegedly direct quote, if you'd like that.
Or whether or not they were having an autopsy done on them. Go ahead.
So this is, there's a sci-fi documentary that's available, like Sci-Fi Channel.
Hell yeah, I watched some of that.
Okay, great. I want to talk about the dwarf guy later.
Tight.
It's available on YouTube and whatnot. And they have audio, which they claim is a recording of a phone call with this soldier who saw this alien firsthand and accompanied it to the hospital. And he said, "At first, I wasn't sure if it was alive or dead. I stood guard while the doctor performed all kinds of tests. I don't know if it was an autopsy or they were trying to save its life." And then separate quote, "It smelled terrible."
Yeah.
Trashy. So trashy.
I did see in one of the YouTube comments for that documentary, somebody was like, "Man, that dude's speaking Portuguese from like Portugal, not from Brazil. That's probably just an actor they paid who..."
Wait, which dude?
That quote that you're saying was like from a audio recording, from a phone recording. Did you see?
Oh, I thought it was in English. Am I just not remembering that right? Was I just reading subtitles?
Yes.
Okay. My memory's really good.
Yes. Yeah, no, it was in Portuguese and they were translating it.
Got it.
So they were saying that, like,
I mean, it didn't sound legit.
you know,
for a variety of reasons. It sounded like audio that had been recorded not on a phone and then made to sound like it was on a phone.
Recorded on a phone. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's an interesting anecdote. It seems like bullshit.
So AJ Gavard, or however you say that dude's name.
I don't know who you're talking about.
The older Brazilian dude who's in that documentary.
Oh, yeah.
Not Nick Pope, not Linda Moulton Howe guy.
Heyo.
He was at Contact in the Desert presenting on this case.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. That was, I had
He
heard
had glasses, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd heard of this case before, and then Poitras and I watched his presentation on it at Contact, and I was reminded of just how fucking wild it is.
Sick.
Yeah.
And now we're here.
Yes. Okay, so we've got a UFO sighted by NORAD and maybe up to 100 Brazilian folks. A crash from which an alien is recovered and brought to the hospital. Tests are performed on the alien at the hospital, and the alien dies. Soldier guy says he watches the doctors pronounce it dead and give a time of death at the hospital while he's standing guard.
Can I just go off on like a slight tangent real quick?
Yeah, sure.
Not tangent.
No, go ahead. Whatever you need to do.
Okay. Whenever these stories come up, I'm always fascinated.
You know, these alien recovery
alien
autopsy
visitation stories.
Sure. Yeah, these ones.
The thing that I'm always fascinated by is our willingness as a species to believe that an intelligent life form developed somewhere far, far across the galaxy beyond the reach of all of our telescopes or modern technology, even in 1996, breathes oxygen like humans do. And that when they get out of their alien craft, they're just like doing their thing. And that if we were to put them on a table in front of like fucking human doctors, that they would even remotely be able to A, do anything to help it, or B, be able to, quote, pronounce it dead? Like were you looking for a heartbeat?
So
how could we even possibly presume that these creatures would have the same type of biology that we have?
I'm with you. And in this case, I actually have a decent counterpoint.
I don't believe you, but I'll listen.
Okay. So Roger Leir is one of the people who have investigated this case over the years.
Okay.
I think he is now deceased, but he went to Brazil in the early 2000s to investigate this case and specifically to interview someone who claims to have been the doctor who worked on this alien.
Damn, that's cool.
And he released this, like a transcript of his interview with this doctor in UFO magazine, which is a Brazilian publication, created by, or at least edited by, AJ Gavard.
Okay, got it.
So in that interview, again, allegedly, the doctor said that the body presented injuries of different kinds and grades. He said that he was urgently called by military staff responsible for keeping the creature.
Cool.
And described being astonished by something he had never seen or heard reported before.
Huh.
His description of the appearance of the creature is the same as many other descriptions. So the whole 5 feet tall, arms, legs, big head, red eyes, stinky thing.
Yep.
He said it was definitely alive when it came into the hospital.
Ooh.
But he also said that he could not understand the physiological constitution of the body he was examining, even though it was an anthropomorphic being with a head, trunk, and limbs. He didn't hear it make any sound. And he said, he had seen its slow movements, which led him to believe that it was alive, like it was moving a little bit on the table.
Okay.
Which is how he decided it was probably alive, but refused to say if it was breathing. So basically, if you believe this third-hand information from an anonymous source.
Yes.
The doctor did not know what to do with this thing, nor could he identify how this thing was functioning.
Got it.
And it didn't appear to be functioning in the ways that a human being functions in terms of respiration and pumping blood and whatnot, even though its appearance was somewhat similar in terms of, being 2 legs, 2 arms, head, body type of thing.
So pronounced dead is really just a substitute for like unresponsive, like stopped moving.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yes.
I mean, it can't flatline if the doctor can't even understand its like physiology as a being.
And also it might have just been like a group of doctors saying, well, we don't know what else to do. This thing isn't moving anymore. I guess we're going to call it. Yeah.
We're done now.
Yeah. Pronounced dead. I mean, who knows? That could just be like an inference on the part of the soldier who was observing this. While
sure.
Also everyone involved was probably, if this really happened, was probably losing their fucking minds because they're in a room with an alien being.
Valid. Valid.
We should probably take a quick break to read an advertisement.
Oh, y'all. Guess what? We've got ourselves a sponsor for this week's episode of the What If Podcast. Spencer.
Fuck with me, I'm grown now.
Are we grown now? Is it
getting there.
official?
I think that's about as officially grown as we can get.
Are we big people?
Somebody paid us money to talk about brown stinky aliens.
They did not pay us.
I mean, they did though. They didn't know they were doing it, but they did.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
That's a good point. What they actually paid us to really talk about, though, is Stitcher Premium. If you are a podcast listener, and based on the fact that you're hearing me say this with my mouth right now, you are a podcast listener, we want to tell you about some fucking sweet podcasts that are available to you on Stitcher Premium. Plus, we have a pretty sick deal for you. If you want true crime, there's True Crime Garage Off the Record, which is the most recent project from the True Crime Garage hosts, Nick and the Captain. Each week they revisit haunting cases they've covered to date. It's a compilation of hidden treasure and a chance to dive deeper, discuss new theories, and get updates from favorite episodes of True Crime Garage.
I don't think this is in our copy, but
go ahead.
I've been listening to, so I used the code that they sent us and I signed up for Stitcher Premium.
Hell yeah.
And I've been listening to Extraterrestrial by Parcast Network. And it's pretty lit.
Is it lit?
And they just did a 2-parter on the Anunnaki.
Oh,
which is very lit.
Oh shit, that sounds very lit.
They take like a very let's find all the information we can about this weird ass topic and present it like it's all real, and then at the end rate it on a believability scale from 1 to 10.
Oh, dope.
And so far I've never heard anything that's gotten more than a 3.
I feel like we could adopt something like that, but I feel like we would just be like 0, 0, 1,
10,
0, 0,
10.
1.
I believe it all.
The Stitcher Premium also has this amazing show from Chris Gethard called Beautiful Stories from Anonymous People, where he opens up his phone line and he can't hang up first no matter what, which that show, I got to actually do the Stitcher Premium and sign up for it because I fucking really want to hear that.
If you want to sign up for Stitcher Premium, go do it and use the promo code WHAT to get one free month of Stitcher Premium on us.
Yeah, just go to StitcherPremium.com. Like Spencer said, use the promo code WHAT, W-H-A-T, WHAT. And you get a full free month. You can check out those shows that we talked about. You can check out our show on Stitcher Premium. And it helps us out. It helps support the show if you guys go sign up and give it a check. So please do that. And we appreciate you for doing it. Go check out StitcherPremium.com. Again, enter promo code WHAT for a free month.
Listen, you bastards.
All right. So we got a dead alien on the table. We've got UFOs crashing. We've got military and fire people and doctors and little kids responding to shit.
It's getting dicey out here, bud.
Well,
it's about to get dicier.
We also have a second alien.
Oh my goodness.
Later.
And the crowd goes wild.
God damn. Later on that same day, January 20th, there were 3 girls, Liliane Fatima, Valkyrie Fatima, and Andrande Xavier, who were on their way home and taking a shortcut through a wooded area when they came across a second creature.
Are we to presume that creature number 1 died overnight?
I guess I don't know the timing. If this thing crashed in the wee hours of the morning, it sounds like it was taken to the hospital pretty quickly.
Yeah.
I guess I don't know how long it was there being operated and tested upon before it perished.
Me neither.
Before it crossed over.
Before it went back home.
But a second one was found later that same day.
Okay.
And these 3 girls did not necessarily say that it was an alien. They actually said that they had seen a, quote, devil.
I mean...
But described something very similar, about 5 feet tall, brown, leathery skin. I don't know if we mentioned this earlier, but these things apparently have claw hands.
Yeah, very sharp claw hands.
That's fucked up.
Extremely sharp claw hands.
Extremely fucked up.
Extremely fucked up.
About 5 feet tall, leathery. They also described it being rather stinky. Red eyes and 3 horn-like protrusions on its old skull piece.
Yeah, and the protrusions are often depicted in artwork as more like ridges. Like they kind of look like Shane Battier, if you know who Shane Battier is.
I feel pretty well versed in all things early 2000s NBA, and I'm not sure what that reference means.
Shane Battier's head wrinkles?
He got like a wrinkly head?
You don't know Shane Battier's head? Shane
He
Battier looks
horns?
like he's got cornrows made of his own skin.
Ooh, no, I've never noticed this.
Carry on, I'll find it.
I don't know if I can now. So they go home and they tell, I think 2 of these girls were sisters. They go home and they tell their mom about this thing that they just saw. And she accompanies them back to the spot where they saw this thing. And the 4 of them, upon return, see footprints and smell the same strong scent of ammonia that was reported at the alleged crash site earlier.
Oh.
No,
I don't
see, he's just got that's not the same thing at all. This was like goat horns, but like running parallel to the head.
I know. I'm just saying Shane Battier has head grooves
I
that
guess
are
he's
like...
got a little, he's got some wrinkles.
He's got some head grooves. I didn't know that they had seen footprints. That was not something that I encountered.
I mean, we're pulling stuff from like
everywhere.
UFOcasebook.org and shit.
Yeah.
None of this is exactly reputable, but someone wrote it down on the internet once.
And not, I mean, to I guess lend slightly some credibility back to the story, there are 3 women who have been interviewed multiple times since this happened today, to this date, who have maintained their story that they saw something inhuman. There is an official story that I guess we can talk about now where the government said that there was a vagrant who was potentially mud covered in the area, and that was what they thought the girls saw.
So in this sci-fi documentary, which, did you watch this thing?
Not all of it, but I watched like significant chunks of it.
So they have someone on camera giving an interview who's a representative of this military base near Varginha, who's trying to explain away these stories.
This whole like section of stories too, right? Like not just
everything. Yeah, just saying like this is a series of misunderstandings and coincidences that then over the years has gotten blown out of proportion to
He's
be
the everything's fine guy.
Yeah.
Everything's fine.
Exactly. So he starts out by saying the presence of the military vehicles, like, yes, we had trucks in Varginha that night. They were there for maintenance. We don't have the ability to service these vehicles on our base, so we send them into town occasionally to be worked on.
Which,
okay, reasonable, I guess. Possible, at least.
Yeah.
He then takes a huge leap and says that the reports of the alien creature at the hospital that night are actually a misidentification of a dwarf couple expecting a baby.
Which is just about as offensive as it gets.
It's not maybe. It is definitely the worst explanation for any unexplained event I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
Like,
it doesn't even begin to try to explain anything remotely covered in the actual, like, hey, we think this happened.
Well, first of all, I think exactly 0 people have ever confused a dwarf for an alien or vice versa.
Yeah.
It's just a person, but a little bit smaller.
Yeah.
They don't have red eyes. They don't have claws.
They don't have grooved horned heads. They don't have
like literally
brown skin.
None of the descriptions align.
It's goofy.
Secondly, why pregnant? Like, how does that factor into any of it?
No idea. I guess
no one described this being having like a large belly or anything.
No,
like nothing.
My understanding was that detail was that's why the military rushed them to a hospital.
The military accompanies pregnant couples to the hospital?
I don't know, man. I heard a story that there was like rain and like a storm happening and that they were having a hard time traveling. And so
military accompanies couples to the hospital if it's wet out?
I mean, it's like
none of it makes any sense. Why?
It's a remote town. I don't know.
think it is that small.
Varginha?
Yeah.
I don't think it's that big either.
I mean, I think we're talking like close to 100,000 people. It's not a tiny village or anything.
I'm not defending it, bro. I'm just saying.
Well, my next point was that doesn't do anything to explain why there would have been a military presence at the hospital.
No.
The military does not accompany pregnant people to the hospital.
The only way it could is going back to my earlier point of if their military is sort of a combo force of we do police, we do fire, we do medic stuff, whatever, maybe. I'm just saying, imagine a world in which someone called an ambulance.
Trash. So trash.
Someone called an ambulance. The military was closer. They were like, fuck it, get in the truck. We're close by. And they drove them to the hospital.
So trash.
That's not entirely impossible to me.
Okay. I guess maybe that still doesn't explain any of this.
Well,
0% of this is explained by that.
Yeah. If, again, though, like you're saying that those details don't explain the details that we do not necessarily believe are even remotely true.
But then why is he giving an explanation as if those details are correct? That's the part that is confusing to me. Like, why not say, no, those things didn't happen?
Because what I'm imagining happened was he's saying there was a conflation of multiple different events that occurred throughout the night.
That's a completely unreasonable conflating of events, though. No one would make that mistake.
Well, right, but what you're saying is, what you're implying is that it is a mistake. What I'm implying is that a dwarven couple who was expecting a baby was rushed to the hospital that night, and a bunch of people made up a story that said the military took an alien to the hospital, and he was like, no, dude, there was somebody who was pregnant, and we were like delivering the baby.
I just don't. Why would anyone make up that story? That doesn't make any sense. Why would anyone even know that was happening?
Well, why? What was happening?
That a couple was going to the hospital to have a baby. That's not noteworthy. That happens thousands of times every day.
But I'm saying nobody made that story up. He's saying people saw the military rushing something to the hospital, and he's going, yeah, we took a woman to the hospital who was having a baby, and everyone else in the context of all of the stories that hit the paper about the girls seeing this alien or demon or whatever it was the next day.
Never get to the point of those stories being reported if that's really all it was. I don't believe that all this shit happened in Varginha with aliens running around. I also 100%
sounds
believe
like you do.
I also 100% believe that military fuck is lying through his teeth about something.
Ooh, guys, Spencer's getting spicy.
Because he then also says that the 3 girls that witnessed this weird creature, he said that they also saw a dwarf.
Everything's a dwarf in his mind.
Bro, people know what human beings look like.
Yes.
These girls are not going to be freaked out about seeing a person who's a little bit shorter than a normal person.
Right. Also,
and they're not going to say that it had claws and glowing red eyes and V-shaped feet and that it was, quote, a devil and had horns. Like,
yeah.
It's a short dude.
Yes. And also, before Spencer got loose on this one, what I was going to say
Sorry.
at the beginning of this whole thing was the girls who talk through this story have maintained their story this whole time and maintained that what they saw was not human. It was terrifying. They were interviewed later in an interview where someone said, if you could tell anyone about your experience, what would you say? And they said it was one of the most terrifying moments of our lives, and we wouldn't wish it upon anyone, and we would never want to go through it again. Like, it was this perceived as an incredibly traumatic experience. That does not equate to
No one has ever said that
I saw
after
a
seeing
person
a little
who
person.
is generally
Yeah.
smaller than other people.
No.
Like, that does
No,
not.
that explanation is total garbage to the
Right.
point where, like, I don't know why you would even bother saying it.
Right.
Because
it just
doesn't
seems-
explain anything, and it just makes me not trust you at all.
We don't believe you. You need more people.
Anyway,
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree. It certainly does not explain away their lifetime of, especially too, this is a thing that we talk about a lot on the show, but it is one of the most interesting indicators for me that something happened somewhere, and what that something is obviously always up for debate. But this idea that a lot of these women said it cost them friendships, it cost them jobs, it cost them even like some of their family relationships, not only to come out and talk about this event, but to maintain their story through all this time. Because a lot of people have given them outs, I guess, of like, well, are you sure you didn't see this? Are you sure it wasn't this or whatever? And they've been like, nah, like we all saw this thing together and it was pretty fucking weird. And they've maintained that since 1996.
do we know how old they were at the time? Were they like early teens?
The eldest was Katya. She was 22.
Oh,
Liliana was 16. And Valkyria was 14.
okay. And
So
this
they
was
were
now
not-
23 years ago, so they're now somewhere between 30s,
Mid 30s to mid 40s.
mid-40s. Yeah, okay.
So there, for 34, 36, and 42. Actually, I have that in this article that I'm reading. But they as grown adults, and even at the time, they weren't like. It's not like they were third graders who got like spooked.
Right.
Those
Those are all adultish people.
it was daytime.
it was like
it
4
wasn't.
in the afternoon.
It's not like whatever the monster we talked about in the woods was when all the kids were like
Flatwoods.
the Flatwoods monster, where it was a bunch of like
Yeah, it was
middle
nighttime. They didn't
and
get a good look at
elementary.
it.
Yeah,
and
it was not-
young kids.
Right.
Yeah.
These are like high school to early 20s women who, in broad daylight, were walking through a thing and saw something that was like nothing else they had ever seen, and maintained to their mid 30s to mid 40s.
20 some years later.
Yeah, that it was still something incredibly disconcerting and frightening and inhuman. That to me is probably the most compelling piece of evidence for this whole thing. And not the military guy who thinks everything is a dwarf.
No, that dude is trash.
Do you think he like he goes to a museum and sees a piece of art he's never seen before and he's like, it's a dwarf? Or like he goes to a zoo and sees an animal he's never seen, he's like, oh, dwarfs. Like he just, everything that confuses him becomes dwarf in his brain.
I don't know what that dude is on, but it's not healthy. Whatever.
He's
it is.
on one. That's what he's on.
The last thing that we should probably note is that someone allegedly was killed by this thing.
Should have been the first thing we mentioned. Not
I'm
the
a
last
dumbass.
thing.
So,
He's a killer. This is what I was foreshadowing. Heyo.
Yeah, unintentionally it sounds like, but several weeks after this initial incident on January 20th, Marco Cerise, is that maybe? 23-year-old military policeman who was allegedly involved in the initial investigation and recovery of this being.
Yep.
He died. And he allegedly fell ill from the effects of direct contact with one of these beings. There was unfortunately no autopsy after his death, even though the family requested one. But they did obtain records of some blood work taken near the time of his death that showed, quote, unknown toxins in his blood at a level of 8%.
You're made of 8% unknown toxins.
I don't exactly know what that 8% means in this case. Is that like your blood is now 92% blood and 8% unknown bullshit that's going to kill you?
I feel like if your blood is 8% anything other than blood.
But is that what that means,
died
though?
a while
Or is it
ago.
like, am I misunderstanding what that 8% means?
I mean, that sounds right to me. But also I'm a dumbass, so.
You know?
God damn!
Seems like too much either way. His sister maintains and is interviewed in this sci-fi documentary saying that she believes this was the result of direct skin-to-skin contact with this creature that they recovered on the evening of the 20th.
Should have let the box do its job, Marco.
Well, they had a net.
Should have let someone else do it, Marco.
Bring some gloves with, man.
That's true.
You know, be responsible.
I mean, one of the quotes she says in her interview that I found interesting was, I'm going to paraphrase here, but she says something to the effect of when he was on his deathbed dying from this, whatever you want to call it, toxicity, infection, whatever, that she asked him, is there something to this extraterrestrial case? And apparently he responded, they will be talking about this for a long time. Which is a really
terrible answer.
Yeah, is a really like inconclusive.
Guess what happened?
I don't know.
No, you have to guess.
No, you have to guess. It's a super inconclusive thing, but it also isn't like it was nothing, you know?
Well, right. But at that point, just if you're going to give that answer, why not say like, yes.
Yeah.
Or no.
Right.
Like what? Why give a cryptic answer to your sister while you're dying?
Yeah. I don't.
That doesn't help anything.
I don't know. I don't have a good reason for that either.
To perpetuate this story so that some idiots 23 years later will talk about it on the podcast.
Tell it. Yeah.
I guess one more thing, actually. A few weeks, again, after the 20th, so I guess early February-ish, a woman reported seeing a third being at a zoo that matched the description of the two other beings that were reported. So again, 5 feet tall, brown, stinky guys.
Here we have our koalas. You'll see they're very cute and cuddly. Adjacent here, we have our giraffe exhibit. We have two full-grown male and female giraffes here. They've been with the zoo for about 13 years. And if you'll keep walking with me here to the right, this is where we keep our fucking
Good.
This is where we keep our motherfucking aliens at the zoo.
I might watch E.T. tonight.
I have not seen that movie since I was a really young kid, and I really
get ready to cry your eyes out towards the end.
I remember it being super sad. I also for some reason that movie absolutely petrified my sister, and so we could never watch it again. And I remember really liking it, and remember her hating it. And
it's a great film. I liked it as a kid, and it kind of freaked me out. And then I watched it as an adult, and I was like, "Holy shit, this is good!" And I forgot how fucking sad it is when E.T. dies. Spoiler alert.
Damn, I forgot that E.T. dies at the end.
I mean, not at the end. He comes back. He dies.
Oh, yeah. And the kid thinks he's gone forever. They
save him.
Yep.
And then they fly away on their bikes.
And then they take him back. Yeah.
Sam Cassell's hanging out in the bike basket at the end.
Breach.
Yeah. She said, quote, "It was an ugly thing with big red eyes."
Okay.
And, quote, "I'm sure it wasn't an animal." And in the few days prior to her reporting seeing this thing that matched the description of these aliens at the zoo, there had been several zoo animals that had died from, quote, "unknown toxic poisoning."
Yeah.
And again, going back to this sci-fi doc, they have an on-screen interview with the director of, I forget what, I don't think it's like the Varginha Zoo, but it's a zoo in the area.
Yeah.
Who says in the 7 years that she's been the director of the zoo, she hasn't seen anything like this in terms of animals getting sick and dying without like obvious explanation. Convenient in terms of tying this all together and expanding the lore of the whole thing.
But it is, for what it's worth, it is a lot of things to tie together without there being like, I don't know. To me, it feels like a lot of disparate events that are pretty hard to put in one sort of fishing line thread between all 4 or 5 of them. If you want to count like seeing the UFOs, people reporting that stuff, the footage that was taken of the UFO, the girls seeing what they saw and maintaining it throughout the entirety of their lives.
But if you do connect all the dots, it's wild as fuck.
It is wild as fuck.
Which is why we're here.
It's also weird to me, or wild to me, that like a lot of, I think again, a lot of the cases that we talk about, there's external people who are going, oh, well, if you look at these 3 distinctly unconnected things like this, then they're connected. And it's like, yeah, but you just fucking made that up because you're full of shit.
But also, it is a good story if you do look at it that way.
Yeah, but with this, to me, the interesting difference is that there are definitely plenty of people who are in it and connected to it who believe that there is a thread between these things. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Like, it's not like an outsider is applying a narrative to these disparate events and saying, oh, well, all these things, if you look at them through my lens, are connected. There are people who are in those events who are saying, I don't know, man, this shit's fucking weird, or this is not how it's supposed to be, or these things are connected.
Say, you all didn't happen to do a bunch of drugs, did you?
Ergot poisoning across all of Varginha, and they had they had a collective hysteria trip together. Yeah. I don't know. It's a weird one. It's a weird story. That's true. That's the truest part. It's a fucking weird story. We out of here! And that's what we're here for. It's the Sweary Boys. Thank y'all for tuning in. Go to swearyboys.com or go to whatifpodcast.com. Spoiler alert, they take you to the same place.
Yeah.
That's where our website is. You can check out our merch. We got t-shirts. We got hoodies. You can get a personal shout out on the show for $50 if you want to do that. You can also get to that easier if you go to whatifpodcast.com/shoutout.
Oh, dang.
Oh, dang. Go to StitcherPremium.com. Use the promo code WHAT if you want to get a free month of Stitcher Premium. That's pretty tight. 612-246-4614. That's our phone number. Hi at whatifpodcast.com. You can join the Facebook group. We got 1,000 people in the Facebook group or so, and it's going great. Patreon.com/whatifpodcast. Get an average episode every single week for just $5 a month. We love you. Bye.
Oh, show 'em what you came for. Flip and fix the paint on 'em, teach and lead the lane on 'em. Ain't got a lot to waste on 'em. Can't nobody take